Good afternoon, Miami. Welcome to Back to Life Live, Back to Life Academy Live. I am Giovanna, and I am the co founder and president of Back to Life Academy. I am also a health and human growth coach. So happy to be here.
And I am Kristen Erickson, founder and CEO of Back to Life Academy, bringing you everything from fitness to finance. We are so excited to have you all join us today.
At Back to Life Academy, our mission is to create wealthier, happier, healthier individuals and businesses. That's what we're here all about. And today's guest, who we have, is exactly who we want to bring you as part of our mission and bring you the behind the scenes stories of those individuals that have reached their purpose, their success, and share with you the main message of you're not alone, because everyone has a journey and here to share that part of it. So today's guest is absolutely no exception.
In fact, she's exceptional. I'm actually going to read this to you because I do not want to do her any disservice. Welcome, Kristen Connell. She is the founder of the Rewired Mind. She has been featured in New York Fashion Week, Times Square, Miami Fashion Week, and the Climate Change Forum in Bahrain and London. Kristen is an international keynote speaker, has served as an MC and panel moderator on global platforms. Her quest has pushed her beyond limitations of her current model for health and happiness, and she now serves as a driver to bring awareness that choice for more joy, peace, and abundance is available to everyone. So without further ado, I'd like to bring you Beyond Limitations, where Kristen will be featured in a movie coming up January 2023. Roll that clip.
Is something that your mind places on you so that you will not push further, farther, faster, and you'll stop where you are. I am in love with myself. I'm in love with my life. I walk into a room and I always think, how can I make this better? How can I build some value here? That mindset, the subconscious mind, all of those elements tend to run the show. And until you bring them to the light, they will rule you. They'll own you. There's always a pivot point. And I think that as long as we're continually pivoting, we are evolving. And with each evolution, there's an upgrade. You find the destination, and then you navigate towards it purposefully and powerfully. And a mistake is not a mistake, it's just correction. Limitations is something that your mind places
So with
on
that, right? So with that, please allow us to welcome Kristen today. Hi, Kristen.
Hi, thank you guys so much
Hi,
for having
Kristen.
me. I'm
We're
honored.
so happy to have you
Honored.
here. Yes.
We have a treat for the audience today. And I think that it's very important to say, if you have a moment right now to be present, if you're listening in, this is going to deliver so many important points that are going to be so valuable wherever you are in your journey. So let's get started and just tell us a little bit about Kristen.
So, I have a journey like we all do, and how I got started in this business, in this industry, the personal growth and development space was completely from a breakdown. I had a breakdown. As all good breakdowns, usually with that breakdown, there's a breakthrough that happens. So back in 2014, I was exposed to a neurotoxin in my home, mold. We live in Florida, so it's quite common. Through that journey of really researching how to upgrade and hack into, biohacking is a big thing now. My health, my well-being for myself and my children, I came across a lot of different modalities, and I tried so many of them. I tried a lot of external things where I was outsourcing my health to other people, other supplements, other practitioners. I went to a lot of doctors looking for answers. I received some assistance, but it wasn't really until I did the deep dive into myself, my emotions, and the programs I was running on a subconscious level that I really came to know what was going on historically, past, present, future. So through that journey, I got trained in several different protocols. I did so because I really wanted to help my children. They were suffering. They had also health implications. I had gone through a divorce at the time because in my marriage, it just wasn't functioning with me having a health challenge. And I'm a solutions-based person. I want to get there, and I want to get there faster.
Yeah.
So in that journey, I really came into my purpose, and I now help people find their purpose.
I love that.
Well, and I love the fact, dealing with the subconscious minds and everything that we're speaking of today. And as Giovanna mentioned, the present is truly a gift. So we both were actually fortunate to experience a session with you where I want you to dive deeper into it because I understood it as almost a guided meditation, but where the curiosity lies is what actually happens physiologically. Can you go into that a little bit?
Yeah, so essentially you are a recording device. So you have a recording of what's been going on subconsciously throughout your history. And through that situation, you create these neural pathways. And in the session, I am talking to the brain and asking the brain to rewire those pathways using the emotion, detaching the emotion. And we're going into all the past, present, and future situations that are all related. And the brain knows how to do it, just like the body knows how to heal. Give it the right space, energy, command, intention. And through that, like I'm a personal trainer basically for the brain, through that, the brain wants to do better. It wants to learn, but you have to give it the right information. So in the session, I'm navigating through, we address generational timelines, generational trauma, ancestral trauma. That's living in all of us. The science shows up to 10 generations back of your ancestry, whether it's been through famine, emigration, any kind of conflict in your family, birth trauma in utero. We're addressing all of those, and even something in the future. So it really is such a comprehensive modality, and I keep adding to it. I keep learning more. And my passion is to just help people know that they have the power within them and then be a facilitator for that.
Yeah. And so let's talk about your journey because you gave us the catalyst in which brought you into these gifts.
Yeah.
And I'm a true believer that our gifts are dormant within us until something, which a lot of people like to call a midlife crisis. I say, no, it's an awakening, right?
Yes.
It can happen at any moment in time. So tell me,
time again.
Yes. So tell me, let's backtrack. Who's Kristen, growing up? Where are you from? Because again, these gifts are dormant. And along the way, you're in a journey just like everybody else out there in the audience. We're going through the ups and downs on the way up. And so tell us a little bit just about Kristen.
So I grew up I was born in Orlando, and I was lucky enough to be, had great parents. My family was really, they always believe that you are curious and you find the best way to do things. So my dad's a pilot. My mom was a nurse. She was an emergency room nurse. And I was, really raised with the idea that I would either be a pilot or a nurse. So I went through training to, do some aviation training, and it was just part of who we were as a family. And through that process, we moved to Houston. I became very aware of diverse culture through living in Texas. My dad was the chief pilot for Enron for many years, and we all know how that ended, not very well. But the message for my family has always been perseverance. And I was taught that at a young age. And you pull up your bootstraps. It wasn't necessarily done in a way where it was conscientious. So I had to find that peace on my own. But we eventually came back to Orlando, to Florida, and I moved to South Florida. I got married, was really a stay-at-home mom for many, many, many years, and had 2 children. And through that process, started volunteering my time as an event coordinator and event planner, and was drawn into this personal development and health space by working with a nonprofit called the Mind Body Expo. And I had access to the people at the top of their game of healing outside of the modern medical model. Yeah. So that really piqued my curiosity. And then I just kept going forward with that. I just thought there's always something else that we can do to upgrade. And it's now very common to be called biohacking. Dave Asprey, the Bulletproof, that brand, he's made that very common. And he was actually, ironically, the beginning of my journey of awareness of knowing that mold was actually really detrimental to your health. He was speaking about it. So just by chance, I was just able to meet him at the conference and have that conversation with him and talk to him about how all of these components really fit together, but the subconscious emotional component is really the icing on the cake to get to that deeper layer.
Yeah. And it's really important to point out, if I may, to our audience that you just said it. It's not that you've been doing this a long time.
No.
In actuality, how long have you been doing this?
Less than 3 years.
There you go.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, a message to everyone to say, it's not too late to start. There is something within you that you're passionate about that can lead you into who you really truly want to become and do. So I think that's beautiful. I needed to point that out.
Yes.
And also on that note, I think we all speak to other people as we coach and mentor. And I think the most wonderful thing that's ever been said is find out what your passion is and then learn how to monetize it.
Yes.
Because people need all of our gifts. We are all so unique. You're so unique in what you do, Kristen. I actually had never even heard of this concept prior to meeting you. And then to experience your gift, it's just so special to really open your mind and really, no pun intended, learn to rewire that. And with somebody like you who has the expertise, you can really help a lot of people, as I know you have, because you've traveled around the world.
I want to go a little bit into the actual rewiring of the brain. And why I'm bringing that up is because at the beginning, you spoke to us kind of a little bit of what it's about and all that. If I have not listened to you before, I'd be like, what in the world is she talking about? Like, that just went way over my head, right? Because it is neuroscience, right? It's definitely in a language that not a lot of us understand. So why don't you walk me through an example of past clients that you've received that have been facing certain challenges, and then what happened?
Sure. That's example is really a great way to understand this. So as I said, I was certified and really got started in this for my children because we were doing a lot of different modalities. It felt like we were moving the dirt from the right side of the room to the left. There was really no resolution. There was really no healing that was happening or difference that I could see. So in this training, in the various trainings I did, I was using my children as my kind of test to work on them and see how they were improving. So I'm very passionate about working with children. And the reason I bring that up is because just recently, a young child that I was working with was actually put into an institution twice in the past year, and she was age 12. So she was hurting herself. She was, really doing some damage, and her family was very concerned. And after one session, it's never happened again.
Wow. Powerful.
Yes. And children have less life that's happened to them. So really when I'm speaking to them and asking them to clear some of the emotional contents in their, because I just see this as information. They've got less information. By the time we're 40, 50, 60, we've got a little more information to address, right?
Set in your way.
Right. Yeah. We've got those neural pathways are kind of like, the treading in the snow. You keep going in the same path in the snow. You have to really conscientiously address those grooves that have been created in the neural pathways.
Yeah.
So neuroplasticity is, a key component here. So that was, one example. Of course, I never say anything in one session. I ask people go to the root. So I worked with the entire family because I never want that child to be seen as the problem.
Yes.
I want the entire family to have experienced the same level of pressure or stress or conflict. They've all been through it. They've all experienced it. And I want the whole family to be balanced and complete and peaceful. Yeah. And so my passion is helping people at, age, my youngest client is 3. My oldest client is 80.
Wow.
I've worked with people that have been, had Tony Robbins as their personal coach. I've worked with athletes. I worked with, people that are of, notoriety. And the thing that's the most common thing about what I do is that people say they feel more clear and just a sense of lightness because we're making space for them to do something new because they're frozen. They're typically stuck in place. So that was really a great example. And then Anthony.
I was
yes.
just about to say, I have to put somebody on
my
the spot.
favorite, my favorite.
Y'all cannot see him because he's behind the scenes right now. Just met him, just learned his story.
Yeah.
And it's
Love
absolutely
him.
phenomenal.
Love
like
him.
it
Love him.
left my mouth.
I was
wide
right
open.
I think we read each other's brain at this point. I was going to say, Kristen, please discuss one of the most traumatic
Over there.
transformations
Yes.
that you
yes.
have witnessed, and that now we have met him as a fantastic transformation. If you can share
Yes.
his amazing story.
Because if you tell me that, if I hear that story from somebody else,
Mhm.
I would say, no,
No.
absolutely not.
I
But
know.
because we know you,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, yeah.
Yeah. And this is what I say to every person. So far, I've just been working via word of mouth, because if you know somebody that's had an experience with me, it's powerful and it's fast and it makes such a great impact. Well, that being said, I'm about to be in a movie about the power of the mind, the law of attraction, manifesting. And I live by manifesting, good, bad, or otherwise. If I think a bad thought, so I met Anthony. We became very great friends. And through me going to the Mideast and being on the stage at the Climate Change Forum and being the master of ceremonies, when I came back, he had become the producer in this film called Beyond Limitations. Don and Melinda Boyer are working with the Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. Beyond the Secret, The Awakening with Bob Proctor was their last film. I mean, really transformational content is being put forth by them. So he was so lovely that he said, you need to be in this film. I see how you live. I see how you operate. I see everything about how you are. You need to be in this film. So when I went in and interviewed, and they said, yes, you have to be here with us and tell us your story. And I said, it's a new story for me. So as that reward, I believe in synergetic and energetic equanimity. I believe in balance, right? So my pay it forward to Anthony was when I went to train with in Europe this summer with an Oxford professor that works with Olympic athletes, because everything begins with a thought in the mind, right? So I trained in this new protocol and I said, Anthony, please join me. You will be the person that I work with, because he had had a traumatic brain injury, car accident, was wearing corrective lenses, couldn't even take them off for a moment to shower. And he had not been able to, he had been in bed for a year, and he had recovered slowly doing stem cell and really high level technology improvements. But I said, until we address the emotional component of your healing, you're going to have marginal results. It's like putting good stuff in an incinerator. What's inside of you is how you upload it through the epigenetic signals. So he came with me, and on this first day of training, and it just was beyond magical. First day, he took off the glasses. The first day of me working completely on the emotional container, on the emotional content and context. Took off his glasses and never put them on since.
Wow.
Second day, he's running, actually sprinting down the road at full speed, and had not been able to do that in over 5 years. And it was all from the brainstem, but he had healed to a certain degree, but the leftover piece that was there, that was unaddressed, was the emotions that were related to that event, but also a lifetime of events that had not been addressed. So it's like a bathtub that spills over. At a certain point, when the drain is closed and there's more information, more water coming in, there's a spillover. And sometimes that is a physical representation. That is some type of diagnosis. And the best part is that there's help. There's people out there that are doing this work that can show you how to upgrade your system.
And we always say, we talk about this with friends and colleagues, you don't know what you don't know.
Yes. Yeah.
So I just encourage people that are watching, reach out to Kristen, or if you know somebody else that does this type of work in your local area.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating procedure. And I firmly believe the body is the most incredible
So beautiful
being of everything that we haven't even tapped into yet. But with what you're doing, you are tapping into it. So it's new, but yet it's old.
Absolutely. And when you look at the big picture of health and where healthcare is going, where everything is moving is treating the whole individual. And so you are definitely a component and part of this. And you just used Anthony's example as that, right?
Yes.
We're going and we're getting diagnosed with autoimmune diseases and so on. And we're having to take medication. But what's happening outside of that? The lifestyle, not just present, future, but also past in what you're
Past.
carrying. So
Yes.
you are definitely a huge component of that. And it's about getting the word out, because I think that when we talk about the words help, guide, support, coach, it's still a little bit like wonky to people. We're like, oh, I don't know how I feel about that. So, and I think that would lead me to asking you, what would be your opinion about that? Like what would be your message to people to encourage them where they're not really familiar in this realm? Because I'll be honest, what you do can appear to be very intimidating,
Mhm.
very scary, but
Mhm.
yet it's so simple. And once you get exposed to it, why would you not?
Yeah, so it really, if you look at it, 5% of your experience, your consciousness is leading you through the day. 95% is a program that's been created.
Mm.
So you're just on autopilot at 95% of the time. So if you don't like the output, which is your life, your relationships, your career, your finances, then change the input, which is the 95%. So when you're working in consciousness, it's valuable. But to solidify some of those changes, and if that 5% is not getting you to where you want to go, address the 95%, which is the subconscious programming, which has to be addressed because there's so much in there. And you do need a guide. I have my own coach.
Absolutely.
Right? You can't read
Every
the
coach
label when
needs
you're
a
inside the
coach.
bottle.
Yeah.
People that
Yes.
want to operate at their top performance need someone outside of them that believes in them, that sees the vision for them, that can create it, strategize it, structure it out. And that's what you guys are doing.
Yeah, and
You're pulling it all
hold-
together.
And hold that space for people while they do the work.
Yes, exactly. And have it be elegant and easy
Yes.
and fun
And safe.
and safe.
It's a safe place.
Yes.
When like you said, when you believe in someone,
Mhm.
you know, sometimes we see the potential in somebody
Yes.
before that person sees the potential in themselves.
Yes.
In fact, more often than not, we see the potential in someone of, you can do it. You know, I was just listening to Jim Rohn on the way here driving down, whom I listen to all the time. And, you know, if it's worth changing, it's worth changing.
Yes.
So if you don't like what is currently happening, it starts with you. You are the common denominator. But what most people fail to realize, you have to treat yourself as a whole. It's not just about eating salads and doing lunges. You know, you have to start with the brain and how badly do you want it?
Yes.
If you wake up unhappy, like Jim Rohn says, try something new for the next 90 days. Try something new.
Yeah, it's true.
So I love what you do. I love your energy.
Yeah.
If you haven't met Kristen, she just glows. When you walk into a room, she glows.
Okay.
And at this point in both Giovanna and I's life, it's the only thing that I'm drawn to.
Yeah.
And if you have the pleasure to meet her, you'll understand what we're talking about.
And listen, obviously, you know, we have some synergy here as we try to bring in these stories and sharing of people's challenges and how they got there. And Kristen just brought something up that I feel that's why her and I coming together are almost, I don't want to say yin and yang, because we also go very well together, but she said something important, and that is she sees the potential where I can hold the potential, but I actually, my gift, my skill is to find the obstacle. I see that obstacle, which is then where you come in, that once that's identified, right? Because here's my question to you. Are there any prerequisites required within self-awareness before coming to you?
No, they don't even have to know what the issue is.
They don't have to know.
No.
Okay.
However, would you agree that the mind is like a parachute and it only works if it's open?
Yes. Well, the prerequisite is choice.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you want to change? Do you want to stay where you are? I mean, I can run the marathon, but I'm not going to drag you behind me.
Yeah.
You're going to run by me.
Yeah, no, exactly. And you brought up a word that sticks out to me, want. Is there a difference between wanting it and needing it?
Well, need comes from a space where it's a little bit more incentivized, right?
Okay.
So need, some people can need it, but not recognize it. You have to have need, then choice.
Okay.
So you have, the choice is the action part, right? When you're choosing.
Mhm.
There is a lot of people have need. My joke is, if you have a brain, you need me.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like,
1,000%.
That's a campaign slogan.
That's me. And this is how, like, it's not only I can identify the issue, I can say, this is the how, this is the resolution.
Okay.
A lot of people don't have the way. They're like, well, think positive and do this. This is the how. And so I'll give you another little thing. I was terrified to be in front of people as of a year and a half ago. I could not stand up in front of 10 people that were people I had been friends with for 20 years. Could not stand up. I used my own protocol. I used my own method.
Yes.
My coach worked with me because I knew that there was something bigger here, that I needed to be a bigger presence. I didn't even want to dance at my wedding when I was married. I didn't want to be seen. I was fearful of being seen. So I knew I had to clear that up because a lot of people need what I do. And through that, I was asked to do the 20th anniversary of 9/11 in Times Square,
Wow.
where I was in front of thousands of people on 9/11 doing a guided meditation. And you couldn't have gotten that microphone away from me. I was about to start breaking into song. So that's how I know what I do works.
Okay.
People keep asking me to be in front of a microphone. I would have rejected this wholeheartedly had I not done my process and cleared it.
Wow.
And you're walking living proof because
absolutely.
you have gone through. You are your own first client.
I am.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And so we're going to start wrapping it up.
Yeah.
And I swear this has been the fastest almost 30
really
minutes
has.
ever, because we can continue on. What you do is fascinating. What you do matters. What you do impacts. You know, you're passionate about it. It's within purpose, your alignment. So I cannot wait to see what you do in the next couple of years based on what she just did in these past 3.5, 4 years. How can people reach you if they want to find you?
Yeah, so I have a website. It's therewiredmind.com. And I have Instagram. It's Kristen Connell Official. And then I'm, go to the page where it's Beyond Limitations movie that will be coming out. And there's amazing people that are going to be talking about how they went from, at their space where they just decided, they made the actions and really went forward to fulfill their dreams. And those are the kind of people that I love to work with, people that are making change in whatever their spirit is. So that's how to get in touch with me. And then obviously, through you guys.
Back2Life Academy.
Yes, Back2Life
Absolutely.
Academy, through what you guys are doing is spectacular as well. And it is so needed and so important. And sometimes I know I even focus so much on the emotional, mental part. So thank you for bringing balance to that and what you guys do, because it needs to come in synergy.
Absolutely. All working together.
Mhm.
Do you have anything else?
I do, just to solidify this amazing interview with you. We want to share with the audience out there the official trailer for your amazing movie that's coming about, and congratulations for that. You absolutely deserve it, Kristen.
Thank you.
And your voice needs to be heard.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for giving me the space.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
Thank you for being
Thank you.
here. We're going to leave y'all with the trailer and we're out. So again, Back2Life Academy live, bringing you and creating healthier, wealthier, happier businesses and individuals.
And it's your choice.
We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye, everyone.